Hey everyone, and greetings once again from, well, not quite Radio Wasteland. You're catching us toward the end of our week off, but soon to be back at Radio Wasteland. It is time once again for our weekly check into some of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you. We're just going to cover the highlights of this week's releases. If you'd like to see that full list, though, you can head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, just look for the upcoming releases link. Click on that, and you'll see a PDF with everything there is to offer. And there is a lot more. I'll get to that here in a little bit that we're not going to be able to get to as we cover the highlights. But let's dive in, though, with a few of the new releases scheduled for Friday, the 17th of January, 2000. I'm still getting used to saying both January and 2025. Kicking things off on the new front, we've got a posthumous release from Mac Miller. This is called Balloonerism. Our description says that this is a double LP housed in a gatefold jacket, and Balloonerism is the 7th studio album by rapper Mac Miller and his second posthumous album since he passed away in 2018. So again, new album, but older material. Miller recorded this album, by the way, between 2013 and 2014, around the time that his mixtape Faces was released. So this is some unreleased stuff from the late Mac Miller. Balloonerism, double LP on black vinyl. Suggested list price on that one is $40. And then there is an indie exclusive version as well on double LP white colored vinyl. This one coming in at a suggested list price of about $40 as well. We've got a live one on the new release front. It was actually technically released last December, but I think it's just kind of finally coming in. This is from Dua Lipa, and it is live from the Royal Albert Hall. This album, according to our description, features Dua's greatest hits reimagined with the Heritage Orchestra and a 14-person choir along with a 7-piece band. What makes this kind of cool is that the description goes on to say that the spot gloss text detailing is part of a special die-cut front cover, so you'll be able to swap out that main album cover to one of 3 other images. This is a double LP release, as we mentioned, and it has an 8-page booklet included in that as well. So Dua Lipa, live from Royal Albert Hall. The suggested list price on this one coming in at $45. And finally, on the new-ish release front, we have got something from Vince Guaraldi and what's being called a archival release of the complete score of Vince Guaraldi's Be My Valentine, Charlie Brown. As mentioned, this is the complete score from the classic Peanuts Holiday Animated Special, which this year is celebrating its 50th anniversary. The description adds that this album has some songs that provide alternate takes that have never been heard before, as well as Guaraldi effectively layering his Fender Rhodes and an acoustic piano to create a very heartfelt soundtrack throughout. And this also includes, according to the description, perhaps the most unique version of everyone's favorite, Linus and Lucy. Be My Valentine, Charlie Brown from Vince Guaraldi, single LP on black vinyl, $32 is the suggested list price on that. And then there is a red vinyl version of this, just a buck more, $33, the suggested list price for that version. Onward now to the slate of reissues scheduled for the 17th of January, and we're kicking it off with just one single Start Your Ear Off Right from Rhino. All the rest are coming in the next couple weeks. But for the 17th, we can expect the Grateful Dead's self-titled aka Skull and Roses. This is a double LP, and it is coming on clear yellow vinyl, according to our description. So the Grateful Dead, aka Skull and Roses, double LP on that colored vinyl, part of the Rhino Start Your Ear Off Right campaign. Suggested list price on this one, $35. One of the Grateful Dead release to tell you about, and this is a reissue of Dick's Picks Volume 3, Pembroke Pines, Florida from 1977. This is a 4 LP box set coming from Real Gone Music, and the description says that for Dick's Picks Volume 3, Pembroke Pines, 1977, Grateful Dead archivist Dick Latava considered this show to be the finest outing the entire spring of that 1977 tour. So again, 4 LPs on black vinyl, each of those 180 gram. Looks like it's got a booklet in there as well. Suggested list price on this one, coming in at $150. Moving over to the hard rock side of things, we've got quite a few releases also scheduled for the 17th, including a reissue of Hooked from Great White. The description says to dive back into the powerful rock anthems of Hooked, Great White's electrifying 1991 album. 2 versions of this in the offing. We've got a single LP black vinyl version coming in at a suggested list price of $32. And there is an indie exclusive on Sea Blue vinyl, this one also listing for about $32. And then speaking of Great White, here is a reissue of Jack Russell's For You. This is on blue marbled vinyl, coming from Cleopatra Records. The description says that in memory of one of rock's truly one-of-a-kind powerhouse voices, Cleopatra is proud to present this deluxe bonus track reissue of Jack Russell's 2002 album, For You. Now, this is the first ever vinyl pressing of this album. All the previous ones have been compact disc. And as we mentioned, it includes a couple of bonus tracks as well. So Jack Russell's For You on blue colored vinyl, coming in at a suggested list price of $28. Next up, we've got a trio of hard rock reissues coming from Music on Vinyl, starting us off with Fastway and their self-titled, this one coming on 180-gram white colored vinyl. And our description says that this is a limited edition of 750 individually numbered copies. Originally released in 1983, this has got a lot of the big Fastway hits on there. Easy Livin', You Got Me Running, and Give It Some Action. So again, 180-gram, very limited edition, numbered white colored vinyl. This MOV reissue from Fastway coming in at a suggested list price of $39. Then we've got the Best of Warrant, limited edition 180-gram red colored vinyl. This one is 2000, that limited edition number, by the way, and these are also individually numbered copies on that red vinyl. The Best of Warrant was the first greatest hits compilation by the rock band Warrant, originally released in 1996 on compact disc. So this is the first time this album will be available on vinyl. Double LP from Music on Vinyl, red vinyl, The Best of Warrant. You're going to pay for this one because it's MOV and double vinyl. The suggested list price is $51. And then finally, expected from Music on Vinyl is Big Rocks from Crocus. This also a limited edition of 1,000 individually numbered copies on flaming yellow orangish colored vinyl. Big Rocks was the recent cover album by the heavy metal band Crocus. This one, by the way, was originally released in 2017. And it's got a lot of great covers on there from the likes of songs from Black Sabbath, Queen, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Steppenwolf, and the Rolling Stones, among many others. So Big Rocks from Crocus, a cover album on flame-colored vinyl, limited edition of 1,000 individually numbered copies, $40 is the suggested list price on that. And as the case with all of these Music on Vinyl releases, sometimes from our distributors, these do not come in on the expected release date. So if you're interested, let us know on these and we'll put you down and get them to you when we do get a chance to get them into the store. Switching over to the jazzy side of things for the 17th of January, we've got quite a few reissues on the way, including this one called Birth of the Blue from Miles Davis. Now we're including this in the reissues because it technically did come out last year, end of last year in December, but this is kind of a reworking of a much earlier album by Miles Davis. Our description says that Miles Davis' Kind of Blue was the #1 jazz album in history, and it totaled just 5 songs. And there are 4 more songs from that same historic group recorded in the same time period and at the same studio, and here they are on this release called The Birth of the Blue. So this is classic Miles Davis. This is Birth of the Blue, Miles Davis, again, $53, the suggested list price on that. Also on the jazz front, we've got a reissue of Like Someone in Love from Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. This is part of the Blue Note Classic Vinyl Edition series. Single LP on black colored vinyl, $28, the suggested list price. Here's a live one from Nina Simone. This is called At Town Hall, on limited edition 180-gram red colored vinyl. This is the complete LP plus 2 bonus tracks, and it contains new specially prepared liner notes by Penguin's Guide to Jazz writer Brian Morton. Now this is a recording from 1959 in a concert that Simone had at New York's Town Hall, and we are getting this reissue on single LP black colored vinyl, $20, the suggested list price on that one. I should also mention, too, that there are a lot of other jazz releases scheduled for the 17th, so if you're an aficionado, a fan, again, head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com, click on that upcoming link, and you can look through all of these jazz reissues that are scheduled for this upcoming week. However, though, we do have one more to tell you about on the highlight side of things, and this is another repressing of Dave Brubeck Quartet's Time Out, limited edition 180-gram. This one has some bonus tracks. This has been reissued and repackaged quite a few times. Looks like the title of those are Far More Blue from Brubeck and it's a raggy waltz as well. List price on this one, not too bad at all. Looks like it's coming in at just around $18. Another classic reissue, but on the country side of things, we're getting another repressing of Marty Robbins and the Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs. This one is on clear vinyl, and it also contains a few bonus tracks as well. Such a cool album, and really kind of a must for just about any collection out there. A suggested list price on this reissue from Marty Robbins with the Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs on clear vinyl with bonus tracks is just $20. One reissue on the newer side of things to tell you about, and this is from Gracie Abrams, and it's The Secret of Us, a deluxe edition coming on clear vinyl. The description says that Gracie Abrams returns with the deluxe version of her sophomore album, The Secret of Us, released through Interscope Records. For this reissue, she adds 4 new songs, including a fan favorite called That's So True. Double LP, as we mentioned, on this clear-colored vinyl, The Secret of Us, deluxe edition from Gracie Abrams, $40 is the suggested list price. And then finally today, we're going to go back a little bit for another Analog Productions reissue. This one from Yes, and it is their Fragile LP. Moved into a double LP for this reissue to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Atlantic Records. The Yes Breakthrough album. Of course, this one includes the hit singles Roundabout and Long Distance Runaround. We are now getting a double LP, 180 gram, 45 RPM, mastered by Chris Bellman at Bertie Grundman Mastering from the original master tapes and pressed at QRP. So this is one of those high-end audiophile releases coming up from Analog Productions. So Yes is Fragile, but again, keep in mind this has been split up into a double LP, 45 RPM, to get that audiophile quality. The list price, of course, is going to be way up there because of all of this. $74, the suggested list price. Now, if you're a fan of this album, I want to remind you to wait just 1 week because looking ahead, it looks like we've got a Steven Wilson remix of the Yes Fragile album scheduled for next week as part of the Rhino Start Your Ear Off Right campaign as well. So again, that Steven Wilson remix of this is going to be next week. But if you're interested in the analog version, then that one is coming out on the 17th. And that is a quick check of some of the releases headed our way for Friday the 17th of January. If you're local and you see something you'd like us to pre-order, just contact us here at the store and we'll put that pre-order in for you. Otherwise, you can head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. Look for the upcoming releases link. Click on that. You'll see a PDF with all of the stuff scheduled for there. As I mentioned earlier, there is a lot more, especially on the jazz front, that you will find on that list. So take your time, skim through that, and let us know if you see anything you like in there. So until next week, this is Jim. I'll be back at Radio Wasteland Records next week, by the way, but thanks again for being here, and we'll talk to you next time.